Hey guys, how y'all doing? TheWierdable here, playing me some The Division. Some of The Division? The Division. Tom Clancy's The Division. I don't know, the Division will be fine. TD, I'm playing TD, guys. This is the open beta, basically. For all of you who didn't play it for some reason, it was free to download on the store or on the Xbox Live Marketplace. Is that what it is on Xbox? Anyway, it was free to download, so if you didn't, I don't know why you didn't, because it was free. However, it was 28 gigabytes, so that is quite large, and for me anyway, because my internet sucks, it took a long time to download. But anyway, that's not really important. Yeah, this video, I just kind of wanted to chat about it, really, and just sort of, you know, get some of my feelings across about what I thought about it, and hopefully some of the things which I hope are in the actual final game. I mean, this is kind of basically, they say it's a beta, or a beta in quotation marks. It's more like a demo, let's be honest. It's more like a glorified demo, which, you know, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's just, if anyone's hoping that there'll be some drastic changes to it, I'm saying it now, there probably won't be. Like, this is basically what it's going to be like, but you know, there may be some tweaks here or there, but essentially it's just going to be kind of the same as this, maybe different weapons, maybe different outfits, maybe different style of menu, but gameplay mechanics very similar, if not exactly the same, which again isn't actually a bad thing, because, well, let's talk about the game mechanics. As you can see, it's a third-person game. There's no first-person view. It's this, what you're saying now is what you get. There's no, you can't even, as far as I'm aware, you can't zoom out, you can't zoom in from the character. Like, this is it. It's quite a close, personal, almost, it's very, very almost over one shoulder, kind of, you know, Resident Evil 4 styly, but not that personal. But it, you know, obviously for big firefights where you have to actually be able to see your environment, you can have it that close to the character. So, as you would expect, the camera angle is very practical for this game. Following the camera angle, you have, which you've probably seen a couple of times now, you have a cover system. It's a very nice cover system. It's very simple. You just press X see, you can see there in front of me it said X on the wall. Basically any sort of wall, car, like whatever, van, which is kind of a car. Is a van a car? I guess it's an automobile. But anyway, yeah, so if you see an X come up, you can click on it and your character will hide behind that cover, which is a great feature, and we've seen it many a time in many games. I mean, the last Tom Clancy game I played with cover was Rainbow Six Vegas, number 1 and 2, which were both, I thought, great games. There's loads of people who don't like them, but I love those games because obviously they had a first person and a cover system, which is great. So yeah, I mean, this is a great cover system, but they also have a really nice feature on it where if you're covered and then you sort of move the camera across to somewhere, like there, you see, did you see another X popped up? Well, basically, if you hold down X, your character will run. There'll be like this animation where he'll kind of be scrambling. Even if there's things in the way, he'll scramble over things. More kind of like quickly, because it's almost like a combat situation. So this is actually another thing which kind of annoyed me. There isn't actually a crouch button as such, so you can't actually just walk about crouched and you're being all stealthy. The only way you can actually be stealthy is if you're hiding behind cover, you look around for another bit of cover to run to, hold X on that cover, or A on the Xbox if you're playing on Xbox, and you hold it, and he'll do the running for you. So it's pretty cool, actually. When you get used to it, you can do some pretty cool stuff. And also, if you double tap X, you can do rolling, which again is like that. It's good for you know, combat situations, things like that. And also, you've got your circle, which is to climb up onto objects. But I mean, personally, at first, I kind of found it quite sort of clunky in a way, because I don't know why. There's something about mapping the cover system to like one of the buttons, the X or the circle or the triangle, whatever button it is. It feels quite clunky. I believe on Vegas it was R1 to cover, which feels so nice because then you have your two thumbs free to move the analog sticks about. But if you're pressing X, then you kind of limit yourself. Now, stupidly, I didn't actually look in the control settings to see if there was another map layout button, map button layout that you could do, because that'd be pretty handy. If you could map the cover button onto a different button to give you your analog stick's freedom of movement. I hope that kind of makes sense. If you know, as in, if you're pressing X, obviously you can't use your right thumb to move the camera or the gun, so you're kind of limited that way. Which makes me think they kind of did this because it makes combat situations actually a little bit more tense. Going back to Resident Evil 4, for example, in that game, if any of you who haven't played it, if you haven't played it, go and play it right now because it's a great game, even if it means you have to go and buy a PS2. Actually, having said that, they are actually releasing it on PS4 in the future, a couple of months or something like that. But if you haven't played it, go and play it and come back and listen to this. Basically, on that, as you know, if you held down the aim button, you couldn't move your character at all. So that added the sense of vulnerability to your character, because you couldn't move and shoot, whereas in most games you can run about, you can shoot, so you're fine, you feel fine. But as soon as you get placed and you're static, that's when you're vulnerable, and then that's when you can't fight back. So like in The Division, it's more about your placement of your character. It's more about using the cover and the placement around you, and using that to a tactical advantage so that you can get the upper hand on people. It's not so much about being Call of Duty, running into people and trying to win those like one-on-ones. It's not about that at all. And it's going to be so interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know if you know this, but at the moment I'm playing in what's called the Dark Zone. The Division is split up into two zones. You've got the Dark Zone and the normal zone, I guess you could say. Basically, it's like single player and multiplayer. Actually, that's a bad reference. It's basically like single player co-op and then multiplayer playing against other people. So you've got your normal AI zone where there's just baddie AIs running about, and then you've got the Dark Zone where there's AI bad guys running about, and you've got people running about, like other players. So more like PvP. So it's PvPVA. Is that player versus AI? I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So you've got that those two different sections. So yeah, I'm playing here at the moment, and as you can see, I'm a very low level because this is the first couple of hours I played in it. I'm only level 7. Unfortunately, I couldn't actually play with my friend. He was level 8 in the Dark Zone, I think, which meant I couldn't play with him because they have a level cap. So obviously, if you're too high a level, you can't play with each other. So it prevents level 20s fighting against level 2s, because that would make no sense, and no one would enjoy that, would they? You'd die pretty quick if someone had a way higher level gun than you did. But anyway, I digress a bit. Going back to my main point, which is I can't wait to see people in the Dark Zone, having these fights. But as I said, it's going to be interesting because it's basically about who has the better cover, who has that tactical advantage over your opponent. And then obviously it's going to come down to who knows the environment better, who knows which bits to climb up, because obviously, as we know from so many things, if you have the higher ground, you most definitely always have the advantage. Here I'm actually shooting this guy. I guess I can explain this other game mechanic. I kind of think that's pretty much everything to do with actual like movement mechanics, I guess you could call them. I guess I could go into like actual game mechanics, like what's happening right now. So one of the main attractions to venture into the Dark Zone, because you're probably thinking, why would I go into the Dark Zone when there's people in there who want to try and kill me, and there's just no good can come of going into this Dark Zone place thing. So I'll tell you now why you want to go in there. It's because there's a lot of good loot in this place. And basically, you may have seen before I shot that guy, there was it said about extractions, and there was a little red thing on him, and it was all rather confusing if you haven't played it. And basically, there's good guys and there's bad guys. There's good players, like actual people playing, then there's bad people who are called rogues, and you can turn rogue and then you get highlighted. So basically, if I decide to shoot a fellow Division player who's carrying some loot on him, Well, he doesn't actually have to necessarily be carrying loot on him, but say I see this guy in front of me, he's got, which actually you saw at the beginning, I had a yellow backpack, like sort of hazard, with a hazard sign on it, and you know, underneath my backpack. If I see someone running around with that, I think, oh right, yeah, he's probably got some good loot on him. Do you know what? I'm going to shoot him and take that loot, because that's the kind of guy I am. I'm a rogue. I'm a roguish type of guy. Anyway, I decided to shoot him, and then that actually kind of puts like a bounty on my head. Now, normally in the Division, in this zone, it's very hard to spot other actual players, because there's no, unless you're aiming at them, there's nothing above their head, there's no indicators to say that's a real player, you know. But if you decide to become rogue, you then get this red blip above your head, which tells everyone around you, that guy's rogue, he's probably going to shoot you in the face. So, you know, it kind of gives you a little warning, but at the same time it highlights the fact that he is a rogue, and if you kill him, you will get a reward for that. You will get the money or the currency or whatever. I can't actually remember what the currency is called, probably like credits or something, but basically you get credits for killing this rogue guy. So, you know, I'm hoping we're going to see a lot of like people hunting these rogues, and you know, as far as I know, to my knowledge, there isn't actually a limit as to how many rogues there can be. So you could go in there with your clan and decide, you know what, guys, let's just all go rogue. Let's take on everyone in this server and go rogue, and then there'd be this massive war against fighting different rogues, and yeah, it'd be pretty damn cool. But at the same time, if you are rogue and you manage to survive, because obviously the more people you kill, the badder stuff you do, the longer you're rogue for. But if you can survive that, you yourself will get a lot of credits as well. So there's pluses and minuses on both sides. You know, from my point of view, I think it's a great idea to have this rogue system, because it really does put off normal people deciding just to shoot people. You know, you've seen games like DayZ, things like that, where you know, you'll get people who just shoot on sight. They don't try and make friends, they'll just shoot you. But this system kind of prevents that a little bit, because it makes it worse for you if you're a rogue. Yeah, maybe sometimes you probably think, oh, it'd be quite fun to be rogue for a bit, but most of the time you don't want to. You want to get the good loot, you want to kill the bad AI, and that's what you want to do. So it's a great little system that you've got there. Another thing which you may have seen me do at the beginning, I'm kind of doing this in the wrong order. This is pretty much like how not to do a video. Anyway, you may have seen at the beginning I did this thing called, I was trying to extract something. So if I find a bit of loot in the game, which I actually did at the beginning, I picked it up, and then you have to go to the extraction zone. You fire off the flare, there's this countdown, and then after the countdown's done, this helicopter will come and pick up your extracted items. But so this is where the cool stuff comes. This is where the danger comes in. Is you have that 1 minute or something to survive and wait for your chopper to come, so then you can extract your goods, which I'm actually about to go and check on my goods now, because you go back to the main sort of encampment where you're kind of upgrading it, and then you send back all your extracted items to that bit. Anyway, so you've got to wait around, and this is where all the tenseness comes in. So you're waiting around trying to see if anyone's going to try and kill you and nick your loot. So you have to kind of defend this area for a bit. Obviously it'll be a lot easier if you have more than one person, you know, watching your back. So that's where I think there's going to be a lot of fun trying to extract your loot. A lot of tense situations I'm hoping for, and it really is, I think, going to be a very, very entertaining game to play. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked it, give it a like. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. And yeah, I hope you get on board the hype train for The Division, and I'll see you guys online next week when the full game comes out. Anyway, guys, catch you all later.